I want to talk about WordPress longevity, and maybe you share the same thoughts or have an opinion on it. It's going to be a pretty deep discussion. I'm trying to keep it away from any kind of morbid tone. The other day, I was extremely lucky to interview Miriam Schwab and Remkes de Vries, and it had me thinking, what else do I need to gain from this exercise in publishing for WordPress? And even going beyond that, right? Supporting WordPress. What else do I need? What else is there for me to achieve? I have become great friends with folks like Miriam, which, by the way, I was on a panel with her, 15 years ago, talking about agency stuff. She had a very successful enterprise agency back then, and it might have even been the start of when she started to build her hosting, which eventually got sold to Elementor, where she's at now. And I remember that imposter syndrome, sitting on that panel with her going, what the hell am I doing here? This place is not for me. She is way too smart, way too successful for me to be injecting, my thoughts and opinions as a small agency owner and somebody who was new probably to WordPress back then. But it was the first lesson in, well, quite frankly, getting over that hump, because I think we all should get over that imposter syndrome. You're there for a reason. People invited you there, and you speak to your abilities, and that's the best that you can do. So that's a lesson in dealing with imposter syndrome. But beyond that, it was the entry point to understand that the community is welcoming, and folks like Miriam are welcoming, and that they understand not everyone is, maybe at the level or, at the pace that they're at, and they welcome you into the community, and the good members of the community do that. That doesn't mean that they agree with you. That doesn't mean they're going to give you free stuff. They're not just going to hand over everything for you, but they're welcoming, they establish you, and they help guide you along the way. Same thing for Remkes. He is somebody that has organized WordCamps. He is somebody that is well regarded in the community. A lot of people have respect for the work that he's done and the education that he continues to put out. And it left me thinking, what else? What else do I need? And let me just put this in the context, in the lens that I look at this in, because there's a few threads of thought here. There's the business side, and then there's the personal side. And maybe you resonate with this. I don't know. You tell me. I am always seeking a finality to this, right? As a creator, as an artist, dare I say, I want the artwork to end, which then hopefully opens up the doors to something else. And you've seen this with this very podcast itself. This used to be the podcast where I interviewed folks in the WordPress space. And the Matt Report was the vehicle for me to, get into the community. Now it's more professionally done at the WP Minute. There was a finality to the Matt Report, and that door has shut, and now it is over at the WP Minute. And that's just a small example. But then when I listen to folks and talk to other folks who might give me healthy feedback and criticism of the WP Minute, they say things like, well, it's not just you anymore, so I don't listen to every episode. Eric's great, but I'd rather have you. The Agency Action podcast, I didn't even know about it. It's with Kurt Von Onen and Toby Crines. By the way, Agency Action podcast, search for it. It's fantastic. Really happy with how that show has come out. So the people say, why don't you do it anymore? It's because there needs to be finality to me. I cannot grow a brand with just me with the mission of supporting WordPress. And through supporting WordPress, I'm supporting freelancers, agency owners, WordPress professionals. It needs to go beyond me, because eventually somebody says, well, I'm sick of Matt's viewpoint, or I'm sick of hearing from Matt. I'm going to, move on anyway. The same thing is going to happen regardless. So what I want to do is build something that sustains without me. It's a bit of closure, but not really. It's about operating a business and making those just choices to have a healthy, running business. But it's also looking at it from the more personal side is, I don't want it to be just me. Surely people want to hear from other people. And surely we can build something that sustains and continues to educate and move WordPress forward, because WordPress will change. There will be a new chapter of WordPress. And I think this is where I start to, tie these threads of thought together is we know that there's finality in all of the seasons of our life, personally and professionally, with the stuff that you're making, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube channel, a blog platform, newsletter. It surely will end. And I want to end it while I have control of it, if that makes sense. And I don't know why it triggered in my head when I had these discussions with the WordPress royalty, like I said, Miriam and Remkes. But it sort of hit me like, I have achieved great friendship in WordPress, in the WordPress community. I don't want to forget that, right? Like, I don't want the pressures of running a publication and running a business and just constantly like coming up with new content ideas and what am I covering next? Who's the next sponsor? No. Like, I don't want that to drown out the real human value that I've been able to achieve over the, 18, 20 years of being in this space. And that's my sort of like finality in that. How do I appreciate that now before it's forgotten because the work has just continued? And the work has just continued that has passed by, and we're on to a whole new chapter of WordPress, and we look around, we go, WordPress isn't even WordPress anymore. I mean, we are making those strides right now with the integration of AI and trying to push this thing forward. Surely WordPress is going to look supremely different in 2, 3, 5 years. Will everyone that we know be around in that time? I don't know. Will your version of the thing you're working on now be like that, be as it is in 2 to 3, 5 years? Probably not. So how do we control this finality? How can you, and I'm not even saying end it, I'm just saying appreciate it, right? To look back and go, I achieved this, or we achieved this. This is satisfying. I am successful, right? And that doesn't mean you stop. It just means you slow down to reflect. I don't know if this makes sense, but that's what longevity looks like to me. It's for me to not get caught up in, why isn't it just your podcast, or why aren't you podcasting more? Or, you should be covering other platforms across the web. Why don't you do more AI stuff? Why don't you launch another course? Because I'm trying to do it sustainably, and I'm trying to figure out a way that achieves some kind of moral, personal success, and not just for me, for the folks that help me. I leave you with this question. Number 1, does that make sense? Number 2, how do you evaluate your successes, achievements, connections in the WordPress space? Whether you've only been here for a year or you've been here for 21 years. What does that look like to you? Let me know. Leave a comment. If you're listening/watching this on YouTube, which is just a frozen cover art image, there's nothing to watch. Or if this is in your podcast app, just tweet at me at Matt Medeiros on Twitter or LinkedIn or Blue Sky or Mastodon, or email me, Matt at the WP Minute.